All right, guys, take two on this. So it's February 22nd, 2026, as we have the live stream to talk about from The Walking Dead, other shows, and other stuff going on. There's not much from news or Walking Dead news or anything like that, so we'll probably talk about a bunch of other things. So let me know your thoughts. Post your comments in the chat, live chat. Super chats are always welcome. And how we doing? I'm One Eye Bri, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about just different stuff that's going on with us. So hopefully you're safe and sound. I know it's getting some bad weather in the Northeast. Some of our people are in the Northeast that watch this and are here regularly. So the big thing about it is got to stay warm. You know, I'm in Florida, so I don't have to worry about that. It's going to cool down a little bit for there. It's got warm again. Now it's going to get cold. As long as I don't have to like run the air conditioning or the heat, I'm happy with that as well. So what's up, Tim? Big Tree, everybody joining as we speak. So thank you for taking the time to be here. USA, if you want to know, spoilers for the USA-Canada game, because that just happened. And it looks like that's one of the last medal events or something. I know it's got to be ending soon, the Olympics. I know it's got to be around that time. So, I guess it's about 2 weeks is how long the Olympics are. So I'm excited for it to be in 2 years in Los Angeles and probably a couple other places. I don't know where exactly it's going to be in location-wise, but I'll be here in the United States. So if you're a basketball fan, Duke played a big game against Michigan, and Duke won, so I'm happy about that because I'm a Duke fan. So, we got a lot going on here. Any other shows, movies, anything else you're watching? Next week, I believe, starts Marshals, which is, it's been a little lull with Taylor Sheridan shows. And I know he's just got the universe going around on Paramount Plus, that is, the Yellowstone universe and his shows, and everything's not connected to Yellowstone. But it's weird when he doesn't have a show on. There's always kind of something going on with Tulsa King, or Mayor of Kingstown, or Lioness, or 1883, or 1923, or Yellowstone, or Marshals, or, some sort of shows that are going all the time with it, and he's getting more and more notoriety for it. So I may be talking about him in future videos just because I am a fan of that, just how his story. Taylor Sheridan, for those who don't know, is a very successful person now, but it wasn't always that way. And it's kind of like Sylvester Stallone. It wasn't always that way. And now they're huge people in showbiz and also with Paramount. So, we're watching Night Agent on Netflix. And if you have Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's season 3 now. And season 1 was good. Season 2 was good. Season 3 continues on with that. And I love it when shows continue on with it, and it doesn't really reinvent things. Sometimes certain shows, there was a show that was on Netflix with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was called Fubar. And the first season was okay. The second season was terrible, and then it was canceled. And I don't think it was just the right direction it was going to go. But I have not watched anything of Game of Thrones yet. I know tonight is the season 1 finale, the 6th episode, and there was a little teaser of House of the Dragon. I believe that comes out in June, I want to say. I could be wrong, but I don't know when exactly House of the Dragon season 3 actually premieres. But hopefully that gets much better, because season 2 wasn't that great in my opinion too. So Tim says there's talk about Sheridan, him leaving Paramount by 2028. I think so. I know he is leaving, and I think it's an NBC deal. Is what his next deal is, and I think Taylor Sheridan is wrapping up his shows, and I'm sure he's going to start fresh for NBC, and hopefully there's something there that's going to really continue on with his just type of writing and stories, because he has the Western stuff down, but also the military angle, and with Landman, the oil angle and stuff there. And I hope that's just awesome. I can't remember exactly, but I'll have to look into it. I know there was talk of him leaving, and I believe he was leaving because of, I don't think he likes, I could be wrong, allegedly. He doesn't like the leadership at Paramount Plus, and Paramount, CBS, whatever, is, I forget. I know it's Ellison. It's the Oracle guy's son, I believe. And I don't think they get along or something. I don't think they see it. I don't think they see eye to eye with what they're doing. So, But a lot of people are talking about From, and they're excited for that. But, that's in April. There's a lot of other stuff before that. This week, this Wednesday, is Survivor. And I'm going to watch this season, or at least try to watch it, because it's the 50th season of that show. And I watched it for a little bit, and I got excited about Survivor every year. And the format is really good. You're in a tropical location with a bunch of different types of people, and they have challenges, and they have to survive, and they have to do this, and they get immunity and everything. If you haven't watched Survivor, at least something, and especially if you watched it before, they're bringing all these cast members back from previous seasons for the 50th season of the show. And that's pretty impressive for a reality show, game show like that too. That's not Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or Price is Right or anything on there. It's definitely something that I definitely want to check out for a little bit. And it starts this Wednesday. Jonathan Wilder, yeah, have you seen? I haven't seen you in a while. You're my wrestling guy on there as well. Have you seen the show on Netflix? That's I forget what it's called actually, the name of it. But there's 2 seasons, there's going to be a 3rd season, and they highlight like different people, different stories. They take you behind the curtain, and it's pretty cool. I actually like that, especially I'm not going to get ESPN Unreal. That's what it is. Thank you. I guess you have seen it if you know what it is. But I'm just not going to watch events on ESPN Plus, whatever, Premium Plus or whatever on there too. And it stinks because I used to like watching it on Peacock, and now that deal looks to be done, and I just probably won't ever watch wrestling again because it's something that I don't have or purchase anything, because there's so many different streaming services and there's so much stuff that's costs so much money. And it's tough. Like, what do you put your money into? And there was a lady that I treated the other day, this past week, and we were talking about different things and what she likes to do and blah blah blah. And we were talking about like medieval festivals and everything on there too. And I was telling about a show because I think she's a nurse, and she was telling me she does this and she does that, and I was like, if you haven't seen it yet, you should watch the show The Pit. And it reminds me of like House. House was really good, and it was one of those great medical shows. And I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy, and it's kind of sad that Eric Dane just passed away. He was like evidently on that show, McSteamy. If the doctors are nicknamed McDreamy and McSteamy, it's not really about medicine in my opinion, this show, but it's drama and it's this and it's crazy stuff. But it's crazy he died. Eric Dane just passed away, and it feels like so many people have died this year, and it's only February 22nd as we make this live stream. So many actors, and more people are going to die every year, obviously, but it seems like big time actors are going. And a football player just passed away at 25. A baseball player just passed away. He was at 89. But it's different when someone dies in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s versus 70s, 80s, and 90s for a lot of people. And I'm right there with you, because it makes like to feel like they had so much more to live. But not all of us are given the 80 plus, 75, 65 plus years on this earth. And it's not fair by any means, but what can we do about it, right? Just live each day to what we have, enjoy what we have, be nice to one another when you can, and just be there for people as much as you can, And it's not easy to do all the time. It's easy to say, hard to do, one of those things too, so. Yeah, GD says she was really excited about Survivor when it started, but it's just a popularity contest. One season they voted off the only one who could cook, so because he was a grouch or something. Well, that's up to them. The show is the show, right? That's what makes it great, is that anything can happen. And you have to think about, how can I win this competition? How can I get further along on there too? And sometimes if you are weak in challenges and the person keeps winning the challenges and keeps winning immunity, as soon as that person doesn't win, you have to vote them off because they have the advantage in that part of the game. But yes, it's multifaceted, and that's what the good thing about it is. Besides the game and the environment and just however it's portrayed, you know. But I mean, I'm definitely going to check it out and maybe talking about it a little bit here too. So, what shows are we really watching? So, Night Agent. Has anybody watched Night Agent on Netflix? And if you haven't, I highly recommend it because it's a good show. It's that like political mystery, CIA, FBI, government agency trying to stop bad things from happening, but the guy is kind of, it's just so many, it just takes us in different turns, twists and turns and everything, and that's kind of good, you know. You don't want to know everything right away, especially with that. So we're watching Night Agent. We just finished the John Elway documentary on Netflix, which is pretty good. It's only like an hour and 40 minutes, but it's one of those things we watch while we're eating, you know, television while we're having dinner. And it's a nice little 15-minute watch, 20-minute watch, and we can stop and watch and start and stop and start and stop. We're still watching that it's Florida Man, and if you don't it's on HBO Max, and they're only like 20-minute long episodes. They're so funny. Not all of them are funny. Some are funnier than others. They're kind of crazy, but it's called It's Florida, Man. So it talks about all these different crazy Florida stories on there too. So I saw a thing about John wrote Kevin's mom did Home Alone 2. Always forget her name. So it was Catherine O'Hara. Catherine O'Hara. That's her name, Catherine O'Hara, and she passed away. James Vanderbeek passed away. You know, Jesse Jackson passed away, and it's just crazy that we're losing more and more people, and it happens all the time. And it's gonna be crazy when certain people, like big time for me, you know, and like Dawson's Creek was a big show when I was growing up, and James Vanderbeek is older than me, but right around my age somewhat, you know, in the same age brackets. And it's sad, you know. And just like when Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Pacino and De Niro and all these older actors now that are in their 70s and 80s and everything, and Mel Brooks and everything, like when they finally pass away, whenever that is, you know, in 5, 10, however many years it is, it's going to be sad because it's part of us. You know, we watch a show or a movie or a series, and we get to feel like we know these people, you know, and hopefully with YouTubers as well too. Oh yeah, I know the other thing we're watching it's called Selling Superman. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's a documentary about this gentleman who's in Michigan, I believe. I think he's in Detroit, Michigan, and his father, who passed away, bought all these comic books and some toys and stuff, but mostly comic books. And he's deciding what to do with the comics because there's some really great stuff there. And he's got a bunch of ones that are graded. He has a Superman #1, a Batman or Superman #2, and a Batman #1 or something. And, you know, these comic books are worth millions of dollars. And he's got a bunch of other copies of all the stuff on there too. And so we're on episode 3. I don't know how many episodes it is, but it's what he's trying to do with it. And he's not a comic book seller. He has a separate job and separate things on there too. So it's kind of cool to see it. That's kind of the dream, right? I think a lot of us can have like the dream of inheriting something that has a lot of money, a lot of value. And that's all perspective, but if it's got monetary value, if something's worth millions of dollars and you don't care about it, you would sell it, right? But if you have something that's a family heirloom or something that's valuable to you because of memories, because of connections with it, it's kind of priceless. So even if something is worth millions of dollars, would you want to get rid of it? And that's kind of part of the documentary. That's a nice little difference because, you know, I think everyone has that dream of inheriting something or finding something or being giving something or cleaning out someone's basement or closet or attic or something and finding a box of comics or baseball cards or some trading cards or something, and there's like this valuable thing that's game changing, and you were down on your luck and down in your time and down everything and down this, and now you're up because you got that too, you know. And it's something that's kind of interesting because, you know, we all could be there too. So Hardnick says, I would rather win a big lottery than to obtain a big inheritance. I'll take either or, and I could care less if it's either one of those things. Because however you can get money, inheritance there too as well. I don't know why one is better than the other, but, you know, getting money and getting something is pretty awesome too. So, but to each their own. Christy says Doc Mel Brooks just wrapped filming on the sequel to Spaceballs. Yep, they just finished up Spaceballs 2. And I hope that Mel Brooks can still be Yogurt and General, you know, Scroob, whatever his name is. And it's definitely something that but what if the inheritance is somebody you didn't even know? What if the person was a distant relative that you didn't know? It's still an inheritance, you know. But I'm sure you're thinking of it as, well, my family member passed away, so now I have this money. Of course. But, you know, and that's why I've said time and time again that I'd rather be, and that's what I'm working on myself, I practice what I preach, that I'm trying to be there with my family now as they're in their 60s and 70s, and they just live in New Jersey, so I don't get to see them a lot, that we can enjoy the good times now and have fun now with time, money, effort, all that stuff, you know? And so, but the fact of it is that money doesn't cure all, you know? There's a bunch of times where, like Hard Mixie says, you get the inheritance because someone is gone. You lost someone to get that money. And there's tons of shows and movies that money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys things that can make you happy. It can make you sad, and it can make you this. But there's tons of things that money helps with. Taxes, food, water, bills, whatever. You got to pay stuff, right? It's essential, but it's not everything. Time, health is probably more important for a lot of people. Father time is undefeated, they always say, right? But the big thing about it is try to enjoy everything you can while you still can. Because I don't want to be going home in the next, 3, 4, 5, whatever plus years to be with my dad who's not doing well. I mean, I'm going to do that, obviously. But the fact is like that's when I'm going to see him and that's when I'm going to be with him when we can't go play golf or hang out or go out to dinner or just be together and watch sports or television or something. And it's just something that I'm trying to be there for him now, and so he's going to get a knee replacement later this year, and I'm going to fly up to be with him for some time, an extended time, because I want to make sure he's done right. And he had a knee replacement last year, and I didn't have the time to do it because of my stupid job. And I needed money because I got to pay my bills. But now with investing and putting money aside and living below my means and just being there, I plan to do that because I think that's one of the most important things for me. And so that's the kind of big goal that I'm trying to do. And, the one thing that kind of bonded us really well was The Walking Dead. And I know a lot of people felt the same way. And I don't know if there will be another show like that. But you could say that all the time, right? Like when MASH was on television or, whatever shows were on television, like big time, huge shows, Cheers or, whatever. Then came out Breaking Bad. Then came out Sopranos. Then came out this. Then came out that, whatever. Sopranos first, then Breaking Bad, whatever. But The Wire or shows that came out. Then The Walking Dead. Then Modern Family, and then whatever it was, there was something that bonded people together, a common thread, a common thing, and that's kind of good to have that too. And my dad and I went to conventions together, and my wife and I went on cruises together, and my wife and I went to other conventions, and we had this awesome YouTube channel and everything on there too, and I think that you gotta find something with it, because the other thing on that Selling Superman documentary, and I recommend it to watch it on Amazon Prime, and it's called Selling Superman, and I don't know how many episodes it is or parts it is, but the guy's name is Darren, who's selling the comics, and his dad was Dale, and it's sad because they didn't bond over the comics. The dad bought them. They couldn't talk about them. They couldn't do anything. It was like their secret because he was worried about, losing them or getting stolen, or it was very sad. And you feel bad for the guy because he wanted just to bond with his father. And I remember collecting, again, I was born in the 80s, raised in the 80s and 90s. I was born in the early 80s. And so trading cards were a big deal, especially sports. And I remember my dad and I going to sports shows or sports collector shops and sports shops and doing everything and buying cards. And some of my favorite players were Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Darryl Strawberry, Ken Griffey Jr., like players that you would buy a bunch of cards for. And it was fun, and there was great memories for it. And my dad had the cards at home, and he still has some left over, not a lot, but he was selling a bunch of them. And he sold some during COVID and made some money, and it was nice. And the big thing about it is he has those memories of us going to card shops and doing things, and that's what it's all about for a lot of people, myself, is you get to have those memories are priceless with you. And I feel as I'm getting older, and definitely chime in if you agree or not, but you get to feel like, remember this, or remember that, remember when we used to do that, or remember watching this, or remember watching that, and having those, whether it's trips or experiences or whatever it is, and you look back on it and you're like, yeah, that was pretty great, that was pretty awesome, that was a good time. And that's what I'm trying to do now. So on my list is to go to Chicago. And so I was talking to my wife, and I want to go to a Cubs game. We want to take a tour, on the water, the architecture tour or whatever. I want to go to the Bean. They have a zoo there. They have some restaurants. They have a pier. They have all this stuff. And so we're trying to figure out what to do, how to get around and everything. And I'm talking with my patients. And a lot of my patients have been from Chicago, and they've been really great to tell me what to do and everything. And I haven't been there and when to go and everything. And then my dad, we're talking about Chicago and everything. And he's like, I would like to go to Wrigley Field. And I was like, oh, yeah? We're going to go, we're going to do other stuff. We're not just going to go to the baseball game. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. And I was like, yeah, so we'll think about it next, May or June, whatever we decide next year. And so something to look forward to. And then my dad's going to get a knee replacement again, so he's going to try to do these things and just try to be active and, for hopefully another 10 years. My dad's 76, he'll be 77 this year. And so hopefully he can live another 5, 6, 7, 10 years, whatever it is. But it's all about, to me, the function, the ability. Can you do stuff? Like, I've seen a lot of times people are older, especially if they come to therapy, and they want to get better because they want to do stuff. They don't just want to sit around, or they want to stop feeling pain. That's the other big thing, is they're in pain from arthritis, wear and tear, and whether it's their shoulder, knee, hip, back, neck, whatever it is, and they just want to feel better. And then when you feel better, you can do more. But also you just want to feel better, because who wants to feel bad? Who wants to feel pain? Who wants to feel that? Inflammation, just arthritis, wear and tear catches up with us. So, I see it all the time. And so it makes you think about everything there as well. And looking back, you want to just remember life and have some fun with it too, And there's a quote I said at last live stream, or a couple live streams ago, I can't remember when exactly, but I've been looking at motivational things and whatever, because you got to stay in the right frame of mind. You got to stay positive. You got to stay in the right, happiness. And there's a picture that's motivational, and I think it's like Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and it doesn't matter who it is, but Charlie Brown says, you only live once. And Snoopy says in a different speech bubble, wrong. You only die once. You live every day. And it's so true, though. Like, everyone thinks, oh, you only have one life. You only have this. You have the other two. But the only certainty in life is death and taxes, right? That's the only thing that they say. And there's a bunch of other things, but death and taxes are really universal. And it's kind of sad that we see those things as our big point with it. But we have moments of fun, joy, pleasure, happiness. And for a lot of people, it's shows, TV shows, movies, whatever. I don't know if Carol's in here, but I know she's talked about it before, Paradise. And I saw, I guess, an ad for Paradise Season 2, or is it Season 3? I don't know which season it is. But I'm like, oh, I want to check that out, because it looks like it's a post-apocalyptic dystopian universe kind of thing. And I was trying to find where it is, but it looks like it'd be on Hulu. So I definitely try to check that out at some point. But more and more shows are going to start coming on, more and more shows before you know it, because this is the last full week of February. Next Sunday is March 1st, which is, so M. King says, Season 2 drops Monday. Okay, so Season 2, it's on Hulu, yeah. Is it good? Because it looks good, and I believe Carol was telling us in here that she recommends it. So I kind of like the fact now that I can watch things. Like, again, I'm a one episode a day kind of person. I love to watch one episode. Like, I'm with Night Agent, I'm watching one episode. And with the season, you can watch one episode. And I did the same thing with The Walking Dead. I did not watch the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead on television. I started with the 3rd season because I watched the first 2 seasons, and I watched one episode, and we were watching it, I forget where we watched it, online or on demand or something. And my wife was like, we watched an episode, and then she's like, let's watch another one. So we watched another one, and next thing you know, the 2 seasons of the Walking Dead were done, and the 3rd season was coming back. And it was coming on. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then we started to watch it. And it stinks when you have to wait every week on there too. That's what the way it used to be. And it's definitely something that you used to have to, that's how we watch television. We had to wait. We'd hurry up to wait, watch it, to wait some more, and everything. John Wilder says, Q&A, did you see the Toy Story 5 trailer? I have not. I've seen the only thing I have seen with the Toy Story 5 trailer is Woody's bald spot. So there's this picture that shows all these different other people. Like, they were showing you, like, Kevin Durant, John Cena, I don't know, it was LeBron or whatever too, and they were comparing it to Woody's bald spot. Because it's kind of funny that they gave Woody a bald spot, but if you have toys, there are different wear patterns on them. Like, I have these wrestling guys that were just like rubber, and a lot of their noses are like broken, or they have like marks on them because you would like be hitting them and punching them and kicking them, and you drop them and they'd fall and whatever. And I have this Hulk Hogan little thing that goes on your thumb, and you can like wrestle him with your thumbs, and I think his nose is busted, and that was a very common thing for the toys to get busted in the tutus. But yeah, I mean, next week, John says, Q&A, by the way, did you watch John Cena's last match? No, I didn't watch that because that was on ESPN Premium Plus something, whatever. But the way that WWE has been doing it is Gunther is the guy that just puts people out. He did it with John Cena. He did it with Goldberg. Did he wrestle AJ Styles? Was he the only one too? Like, they just when in doubt, they wrestle Gunther and they lose. Tim says, I'm caught up on the pit now. So did you watch season 2? Because I've not watched any of season 2. That's another one that, again, I like to watch an episode a day. And if I hurry up and just watch the pit, then I'm going to have to hurry up and wait. It's, I don't know, like, I don't mind waiting and watching, but now there was a little lull for shows, but now, like, next week is Marshals and Survivor and I can watch Game of Thrones now, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So that's 6 episodes because the finale is tonight. And then The Pit, I mean, I think the first season was like 13 episodes, so they're about halfway done. And so if they go in another each week, I don't know how many episodes season 2 is, but that'll take it into maybe April. I don't know exactly how many, but March, April. And by then The Boys will be on. There's so many things creeping up every month now that's going to be there, which is awesome. You know, it's a great time to be alive, a great time to watch all this stuff. And there's really no shortage of shows, especially if you have multiple streaming services. You know, it's definitely something that, yeah, MK, I definitely will. Glad to see you in the stream, and hopefully you're doing well as well. So I definitely will start watching Paradise for sure, because you know I got to get a list together and always check that too. And you know, whether it's a digital list or a thing, or whether it's a practical thing, you know, actually pen and paper. You got to write stuff down because we forget stuff all the time. Like I can't count how many times I have some pieces of paper that are clipped together and a pen, and I write stuff down all the time, especially when I think of something as I'm driving. And because when I drive around Tampa Bay, I think about the zombie apocalypse story of Fight for Us. And I'm thinking about it as I'm driving and visualizing stuff, you know, and people are talking about it. And it could be simple as people are talking about whatever that's going on now. And I'm like, oh, I like that term. Oh, I like how that's used. I like how they're thinking about it now. And the way stuff is kind of going in the world right now, it kind of impacts my view of Fight for Us. And if you know the story, I talk heavily about artificial intelligence in Fight for Us. And so I find it very interesting of where we're going with everything, with stocks and companies and everything. And AI is still very much in the forefront. And it's one of those things that you can't can't put it back in the box. You know, you can't put stuff back in Pandora's box. It's out of the cage. So we'll have to see and manage it, and hopefully we still get to live a very productive and happy and safe, clean life in this planet and country, and doesn't fall apart on us. But we'll have to see. Have to see where it's going. The other thing I saw on Facebook, and there's a lot of stuff on there. Again, it's online and it's on Facebook, especially. It's got to be real, right? But the fact of it is that I saw a quote. I don't know if it's a quote. I don't know if allegedly on there too. So yeah, no, I love Negan. I'm definitely loving PepsiCo dividends. I have Pepsi in 2 of my portfolios, and I wish I had more money, even though Pepsi's way up from what I have it at. Because I'm loving Pepsi, I'm loving Verizon, I'm loving certain stocks that I have, and Pepsi's one of them. I have Coke and Pepsi, but I have way more Pepsi stock than Coke. And I'm loving it. Dividends are the way that my future is going to be able to have for me, because I'm going to live off of them. And that'll be how I get to be home. I can write more, do more, just experience more. And like this past time, I've been able to do more housework and gutter work and raking of the leaves and all the crazy stuff that was putting off, and moving my gutters and downspouts and stuff, and just making it better for it. And so it was kind of cool to be able to do that, and I'm really glad I have the ability there, and dividends are one of the reasons too. So yeah, I mean, I'm a long hauler. You know, I'm going to have these stocks for the rest of my life and to live off the dividends. Unless I need money that bad where I have to sell some stuff to pay for some things. But I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to manage my money and do it right. And like I said, and some of those Pepsi dividends are where it's at. But stocks are so much higher now that it's tough for people. And it'll eventually come back down. There's going to be another regression, you know. Man, that's great. That's awesome. I know. See, like $180,000 though is a lot. That's a lot of money. But it's worth it over time. If you got to buy one share at a time and reinvest, always reinvest the money if you can, and then you just accumulate enough shares in there too. But yes, I don't know what the math is, but it doesn't pay every month. It pays every quarter. So it would pay every quarter for how much it is, and then reinvesting it, putting it back in, or you can always play with it there as well. But Pepsi is definitely a great stock that I recommend for people too, especially for the Frito-Lay aspect, because they have a lot of great products. Whether you drink, and I think they just bought the Poppy soda or something, one of those like healthy sodas, if there's such a thing. And I believe Pepsi just bought them, or a percentage of it or something. But so the big thing about it is that I'm just trying to get making videos for it, and staying. So I posted a video of my time, one visit my wife and I went to the Animal Adventures, and there was these otters, and I have more videos that I'm going to post eventually, and it was kind of cool to play with these otters and interact with them, and it was definitely something that if you ever get a chance to do that, I am definitely recommend. And it depends on how it is too, especially if it's a sanctuary, not Negan sanctuary, but a sanctuary or an animal rescue or something there too. It's not like a Tiger King situation where they're making you swim with animals. The cubs don't want to swim in the water and everything. The otters actually love it, and that was part of it. I didn't actually swim with the otters, but that was the thing you could do there, and so it was much different on there as well. Negan says, "I'm at Frito-Lay right now." Right now, as we speak, or just in general, because I love the diversification of different stocks, and I recommend it if you can. A little bit goes a long way, and if you can do that earlier, the better. And nowadays, there's really no reason not to. Of course, money and budget, you got to pay your bills, but it doesn't cost you money anymore to do that. Before, back in the day, if you had stuff like that, it would cost money for every transaction if you bought or sold. Now, there's no fees for that. And you can use Robinhood or Fidelity or Schwab or whatever. There's a bunch of different things. And you can get good return on your money. And it's just the way it is. If you look at enough percentages, the return is just great. Now it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's what everybody wants. But after a while, you start making it's a snowball effect. It's compound interest. It takes time. And people don't feel like they have enough time too, so. Yeah. But yeah, so what other shows are you guys watching? Anything you recommend? Because I always love to hear good recommendations on there. Haven't watched any movies. I was watching, every Saturday. I told you the routine, guys. I wake up, I get in the car, I drive the 15 minutes to Sam's Club, I get my rotisserie chicken, my bananas, my free sample, whatever's in the machine, and anything else that's on sale. But if it's not on sale, I get back in the car and I go home. So that I go to work out, my wife and I have breakfast, we go to Publix or whatever, and then I rip up the chicken and put it in a container and everything, and I watch a movie or something with it. And I try to watch something that's like for at least 45 minutes or more, like a movie or something, and True Lies was on AMC. And definitely Arnold, for a lot of people, Arnold's best movies, our best movie is Terminator 2 or Predator. Or, like there's certain movies that people like. And True Lies is definitely up there for me. I like Predator, I like Kindergarten Cop, I like Terminator 2, Terminator 1's still good too. But True Lies is definitely a top 10, maybe even top 5 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And Tom Arnold's hilarious in there too. And I got to the point right around, because there's commercials and everything in there too, where Arnold Schwarzenegger's character finds out that Jamie Lee Curtis, his wife, is the whole plot of her seeing another man and what's going on with that. And the movie is just so good on so many levels, and James Cameron just has the way of getting your interest in there too. And I don't know another producer, director, writer, whatever James Cameron actually is. Like in all those things, I don't know what he actually is. Probably all those things. But he just has a way of drawing you in that's like some of my favorite movies are his. And for a lot of people, they're his. And I hope there's people that are going to be able to continue that after he's gone or stops making movies. And I want that to continue on in some way. And just the same thing of like actors, right? Like, I think I asked about it before. Like, who's the last remaining movie star in movies? And I go with Tom Cruise, right? Because who else is left? Clint Eastwood, he's an old man. He's not acting really. Mel Brooks, he's not doing anything. There's certain people, but and now there's the whole debate about AI and AI movies and AI actors. And Brad Pitt, yeah. Brad Pitt's definitely up there. I know you could say De Niro and Pacino and everything there, but they're just old timers. And I keep seeing, and I hope it's true, information and news about Heat 2. So the Heat movie, the first movie, Heat, with Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, a bunch of people. John Voight, like there's a great cast in there. And I hope that it's true, because there's been rumors and speculation that they're making Heat 2 with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I can never remember the guy's name, the guy who played Elvis. Austin something, whatever. Yeah. But I don't think of like old timers are there too, but like a movie star. So I guess if you're a movie star, you're a movie star, right? And so it's Pacino, De Niro, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, George Clooney. And so we'll have to see who actually there too. And who are the female big stars? I don't know. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is probably there. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's harder for women actresses because some of the big ones aren't really acting much. It's more like Angelina Jolie was huge. Nowadays, the younger actors are there, but I don't know. Like it's hard to say. Charlize Theron, Denai Guerrero. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Out of The Walking Dead, who's the biggest star from The Walking Dead? It's hard not to say John Bernthal, in my opinion. Helen Mirren, he's for sure. It's basically like Kevin Costner. It's basically like all the people that are in the Taylor Sheridan shows. Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren, Kevin Costner, Sam Elliott. And then the Madison is Michelle Pfeiffer. Meryl Streep, yep. Meryl Streep's a big actress. Yeah, I mean, Norman Reedus for sure. Yeah, I don't know. You got to go. It's hard because yeah, I guess people don't think of like there too, like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That's a good one. So okay, the big three got to be Jeffrey Dean Morgan, John Bernthal, and Norman Reedus. Yeah, and I think John Bernthal is going to be in the Odyssey with Matt Damon. He's in a movie called The Grudge with Sylvester Stallone and De Niro. So it's De Niro and Sylvester Stallone. He's like in Fury. He's in all these other things too. He's in Wolf of Wall Street. Like I'm telling you, like Norman Reedus is Norman, but the biggest continuation of stuff, I think it's got to be up there. Probably the biggest, most parts after The Walking Dead. And plus, he got out in season 2, so it was easy to have many more roles. But Steven Yeun, too. Steven Yeun is up there. And so it's kind of cool to see. And I guess there's no right or wrong answer. It's a matter of perspective. But, yeah, I'm wondering when we're going to get that Avengers Doomsday trailer. Because I know it doesn't come out till December. But it's in 10 months. Is it going to be a 6-month thing? 6 months out? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going down, and hopefully you're doing well this year so far. Like it's February 22nd, 2026, coming at you for the live stream today. But before you know it, next live stream is next Sunday, and that'll be March. And then people will be getting ready for spring breaks and traveling and here and there and trips and vacations. And I said it before, there's got to be stuff you got to look forward to. You got to look forward to something down the road because if not, it's easy to get depressed. And I'm thinking about trips later this year, in a couple months, in 6 months, at the end of the year, into next year. And I'm trying to get money for that, and I'm trying to budget for it. And I'm like, okay, how much is this going to cost? If I spend this, I spend that. Okay, it's about $1,000. Cool. So then I got to get that money together, put that money away, and pay your taxes and your bills and your insurance and everything. And my wife's birthday's coming up, so then we gotta do that stuff, which is part of the course. It's part of life, which is good. And streaming services are getting more and more and more expensive. And I think I talked about it last time. And there's this person that writes a comment, and they're like, quotes like other YouTube channels, but doesn't quote who they're from, like whatever. But I guess there's talk and speculation and rumors and nonsense about AMC is going to let Netflix do a 12th season of The Walking Dead. And I don't know if that's going to ever happen because AMC owns the rights. And I'm sure Netflix makes a lot more money than AMC because of the subscription basis. But AMC owns the rights, and they would have to have a pretty spectacular deal because I think it was on the last time I talked about that AMC and Netflix are negotiating potentially because in next January, that's the contract for The Walking Dead main show on Netflix. And it's all about, syndication, where it's going to be at, and just moving stuff around. And I'm sure AMC wants to make the most money possible on their properties. Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, Mad Men, whatever. And I'm sure Netflix doesn't want to overpay, but a lot of people watch that. And I'm sure Netflix, the good thing about streaming services, probably for the companies, is as soon as you watch something, it's data. How long are they watching it for? Are they watching it more than once? Are they, it's just they have all these different parameters that they can see what it is. And that's what we are. We're just data streams for services and companies now. That it's the way it is, right? It's fine. What can we do? And there's a thing that we have to be able to just get past it, move on, and live our lives. But people, there's a lot of money in our data. There's a lot of information. Information is key. It always is. Communication is key, but information is how to extrapolate that and to monetize it is what a lot of companies do, which is the way of the world now, right? Our data, the apps. Like, why do companies incentivize you to use their app? Because it's logged in their system. What sells? What doesn't? What repeat customers on there too? Which is fine. You know, I don't mind getting a deal. I prefer getting deals anyway. Getting an awesome good deal for anything is what I'm all about. Got to shop around too. You know, Amazon, Walmart, Target, whatever. And especially with the household staples. But the big thing is hopefully more and more streaming services are going to be coming together at some point. I don't know. Hopefully we have better and better internet. I'm still waiting for universal fiber optic cable because it's just so much better. You know, I don't have FiOS where I live because it hasn't been laid in the ground yet, but I will gladly switch over to that if and when it becomes available because it's just a better system. So like our internet now is $100 a month. And there's times where it goes in and out, in and out, in and out. You have to reset the modem a bunch of times. And I hope you guys have wired connections for certain streaming services or it's gotten better because we used to use the Wi-Fi for our Amazon Fire Stick and it would buffer and it would this, but I bought a hard line of the actual, cable from the back of the modem that goes right into an adapter to my Fire Stick. So it's run by that. It's actually a wired connection. And it does much better for that. And hopefully it's just going to be better and better connecting for everything too. So Jonathan Water says, did you hear that Grand Theft Auto 6 got delayed again? Yeah, I mean, I don't even care about that anymore. Like I didn't even finish Grand Theft Auto 5. But if and when it ever comes out, it's going to sell a bajillion copies. They were talking about Grand Theft Auto 6, how it's going to, I don't know, stop the world or something it said. Like, they better have enough bandwidth and servers and everything to connect because that's going to be crazy. Talk about data centers and everything else on there too. That's going to shut down, but the stuff's going to be used, and that's crazy because more and more stuff is going that way too. So we're using more and more of our resources, data centers, solar energy, water, this, that. Like it's just going up to cool the data centers down. Like it's just crazy because those servers are running 24/7 and they're running a lot of data through it every second, and so they get hot. So then you have to keep them cool. So then the energy costs are going to go up. And there's all these different, things that people are really upset and frustrated about. And I totally get it. Especially if you don't use any of that stuff. So our energy costs are going to go up too as well. And so hopefully they come up with something that can, do something with it. But it's just not good because it's another drain on the power grids and everything else. Like, is it more essential to just use the oven or the air conditioning or the refrigerator or an AI data center? Like, right? There's a priority of things. So we'll have to see what actually goes about, and hopefully there's the states and government or whatever has, it has a aspect for it too, or an option for it. Christy Wells says, Dr. Pepper used to give incentives for buying their products, but they stopped at the beginning of the year. And you never know, they may come back on there if sales start to go down. Remember the Pepsi Challenge? There's like a documentary about it on Netflix. And there was the thing where if you got all these Pepsi points, you could get different things. And one of them was like the jet. Like you could get a jet. And the guy, a teenager, figured out the loophole about it or something. It was just so crazy. And I was happy with getting like free Pepsi or like a hacky sack or a T-shirt or stupid things like that. But you would buy Pepsi, and it made you buy Pepsi as well. The same thing with like McDonald's or whatever. Like I don't know how well it did, but Monopoly, when Monopoly came back, you might go there a little more often because you want the big prize. And I don't think they gave away $1 million or something like that anymore. I think they were giving away different things, but that was another thing where it kind of draw you back in. Jeannie says they're trying to put a data center in town near me. People are up in arms over it, mainly because it was done sneaky like with ND. Of course, right? They know what they're doing. They're not like nobody wants a data center in their backyard. They're loud, they're annoying, they're disruptive, they're just everything. They contaminate the soil and the environment. They're just not good for the environment. And where is that, Jeannie? Because I know there's talk of them going up in Ohio and Georgia and South Carolina and like all over the place. And, I was like, oh man, I'd hate to move somewhere and they put one in. You're like, ugh, it's just terrible. Yeah. So Negan knows what I'm talking about. Like, kids should have took the $1 million. Yeah, Ohio. See, I know Ohio is a big area for that stuff. And I forget the YouTube channel. I used to watch it, last year and a couple months ago, and I'll have to get back to watching it. But it's a good YouTube channel that talks about stuff like that, and it's like the type of journalism like when you go in and grassroots journalism, and you're trying to go in and get the stories that they're not covering on the news, and they're getting stories and they're getting donations to help them, and they go in and they were talking about all that different stuff. They were talking about like different things and political things and government thing and everything on there. It's kind of crazy. And one of them was talking about data centers. And they go and they talk to the people in the area. So like they're not making stuff up. They're not just somebody's talking there too. Like they travel there, they go there, they talk to the people around there. They're talking to the people in the community in the neighborhoods and the area. And it shows you what's really going on. And it's very eye-opening. And it's very sad for a lot of those things too, because it's usually not good. The stories aren't always good. Like, oh man, this is the best place to live because of this, and it's usually some sort of problem or some sort of thing people are complaining about, like in Texas or Ohio and wherever. And it's sad because they were talking about our K-shaped economy and how the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and you can't do this and you can't do that. And they were talking about Las Vegas recently, how Las Vegas, there's less people going there and everything on there too. But the rich people are still going there, and that's all they care about because they're betting $50,000 a hand or doing something on there too. And so they're companies, and I think MGM owns like such a huge percentage of Las Vegas now. And so they don't care, and they have BetMGM apps and they got all this stuff. So they're still making money with it. But Las Vegas isn't the same, and I'll probably never go back there. There's really no reason for me to go there at this time unless there's some other event or something that's be kind of cool for a show or for something. But there's other places that I want to see in the United States, and been there, done that, got the magnet of Las Vegas. So, but all right, guys, I got one more minute. Let me know your thoughts in the chat, and we'll talk about a couple of different things. But I'll be back next Sunday to talk about different shows, and we'll see what shows we start, and maybe we should probably be watching Survivor that comes back on Wednesday, and maybe different things of any other thing we're watching. I mean, I know that the Olympics got to be ending soon, right? I mean, it's... Uh-oh, what happened here? Did I lose my connection here? Because we got a thing for it, but I don't know. It says... So, all right, guys. I don't know if you can see me or hear me, but it's messing up right here. YouTube has got its weird connection on there as well. As you were speaking of the internet previously, that from Spectrum, crappy on there as well. But I'll be back next Sunday to talk about different stuff, any other information that we have on there as well. And there's just not much news about The Walking Dead that's legit and honest to talk about on there too, because I'm not going to speculate on stuff that we just don't know about. But next Sunday is Marshall's there for sure. I'll have to see when that goes on there as well. But there you go, guys. That's my hour. I appreciate you guys taking the time, and had a little technical difficulties the first time as well. And but yeah, the video output was disrupted on there as well. But like I said, I'll be back next Sunday to talk about different shows, different things, anything you recommend. I always appreciate it. Remember, you guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Keep working hard at it. No matter what it is, you can do it. I'll be back next Sunday, guys, and I'll see you.